Welcome back to Issue 3 of Full House of Cards. We are broadcast journalism reporters Jasper Hodgson,
Zach Adlo, Sebastian Capo,
and Nico Clay.
Today we are bringing you a range of different content from Issue 3 of Full House of Cards, a production by the broadcast journalism class which is part of the Cardinal Times. In our first piece, we hear from Lincoln athletes and our athletic director about the differences between men's and women's sports at Lincoln.
Hey Cards, it's Morgan Miller, Haley Cordry, and Sofia Frantalizzi. As female athletes at Lincoln, we know how impressive and talented our teammates and classmates are. We wanted to make this video to highlight some of the successes our female athletes have had in the past and some ways to support them in the future.
First, we talked to some Lincoln athletes to better understand how important it is to support any athlete in any sport.
I play women's soccer on the varsity level at Lincoln High School, and I also play for the Portland Thorns Academy U18, U19 team. I've been playing since I was about 5 years old. I think the teammates and kind of like getting to know a ton of my best friends through playing soccer. I think some of my closest friends are people I've known since I was 5 or 6 at my first levels. And then also just the competitive aspect. I'm like a super competitive person. I think we just need more support for all sports, not only like the main central sports, especially on the men's side. Like we need more women's support as well, especially with women's soccer, basketball, and just like more of those like smaller sports as well. Well, like going back to this like student support, we definitely see a lot more fan support at men's game, and also more publication from like teachers and staff, and then also students themselves. So I think there's kind of been generational discrepancies from like setting back like centuries ago, and I think it's super important that we make a change here at Lincoln High School. And I think even small efforts can help change the wider scale, like in Portland and like around the country, if we just make the small changes to support women's sports in our own high schools. I mean, it's a really fun game. I mean, we're awesome. We're a lot of fun to watch. We have some of the best girls at Lincoln playing, and we're super competitive in the state. And then also just like getting to know your female athletes, you kind of get to see a new side of us that you don't really see at school. And we're all really competitive and kind of crazy out there. So it's kind of fun to watch, so you should come.
Okay, I play lacrosse. I'm on varsity. I just really like being on a team and playing with my friends and being competitive. I think like it'd be great if more people came to our games. That's it. But I think like generally people like lacrosse and like talk about it and stuff, so yeah. I think with lacrosse it's a little different because they're both club sports, so like neither of them are funded by PPS. So there isn't any like inequality between the two sports, but I would say definitely like having friends and watching other sports at Lincoln. I think that there's inequality between like other sports, boys and girls, and then also like football is a whole deal. So I definitely see it. I think it's like not as prevalent in lacrosse, but it's definitely happening in other sports. I think it's important because it's like every kid should be equally supported by their school community. And I think like the whole reputation that girls sports are not as fun to watch as boys sports is just so stupid. I actually think that girls lacrosse is more fun to watch than boys lacrosse. That's like my personal opinion. But I don't know, it's the same amount of like action and excitement. I think it's super fun to watch girls sports.
I've been playing club soccer for I think like 10 years now, and I've been ski racing for a club for also 10 years. I do both of them for Lincoln, and ski racing is a club sport, so it's not technically like OSAA. Just like the team is really fun, like the team get-togethers, and also like in soccer, kind of hanging out after a win or something. And I just like love being around my teammates. We actually got like a decent crowd at most of the boys' games, but like at most of the girls' games, it was mostly just like a lot of the boys soccer team. We would always go because they would always come to our games, but there was a lot less of like the rest of the fans, the rest of the student body showing up. And I think that also had something to do with the girls got like less games at Wells scheduled than we did, so they had like less games at like the prime time kind of stadium, so they had less fans. I don't know, I just think it means a lot like when like your friends or even like people you don't know come out to like watch you play. It definitely like makes you play better, and also just kind of makes you feel supported. So I don't think anyone should be like excluded from that, and we should attend sports like no matter gender or other sports, because I know like soccer and football, we get more fans than like baseball, softball. So I think it's important to go out to every sport. You know, it's a great experience. Everyone has lots of fun at the soccer games. We did pretty well this season. We would have liked to probably go a little farther in playoffs, but it's better than like staying home. So if you don't come, you're missing out.
Our Lincoln athletes have had a lot of success and appreciate the recognition and support our student body gives them. Some sports and athletes feel underrepresented and deserve our support at games or meets. Let's show up for all athletes and show them the Cardinal love.
Now, in our World Cup at Lincoln video, we hear from students about what the World Cup means to them.
The 2022 World Cup is taking place in Qatar, meaning for the first time ever it is happening during the school year. Follow us as we interview Lincoln students about the World Cup means to them. So, what team will you be supporting and why?
I'm going to be supporting the United States of America.
And what are you most excited about for the World Cup?
I'm excited to come together with people from a bunch of different cultures to watch the games, because it's really something that brings the world together, and I've been looking forward to it for a while.
Yeah, that's the beautiful game. And what two teams do you think will be in the final, and who do you think will win?
I'm going to go with the United States of America and Brazil, and I'm going to have Brazil winning.
Wow. Controversial.
And also it could be France in the final as well, not the United States of America.
And what are your thoughts about the World Cup being during the school year?
It's really unfortunate, but I've heard that Lincoln is doing a lot of things to help us view the World Cup, even though it's going to be during school hours. I'm going to be watching as much of it as I can. It's really something like a worldwide event that happens once every 4 years, so hopefully we were able to make it special during the school year.
Here we can see some leadership students and other student volunteers staying after school to paint and decorate banners and posters to be hung up in the Commons for the World Cup.
Argentina because it's Messi's last World Cup, and I love Messi. It's better than Ronaldo, in my opinion.
What two teams will make it to the final and who will win?
Argentina and Spain will make it, and of course Argentina will win. It's not even a debate.
Okay, and then what is your favorite World Cup memory?
My favorite World Cup memory is France winning in 2018 because I predicted that. Yeah.
Okay, and then what do you think about the World Cup being during the school year?
I think it's a great way to bring classmates that probably usually wouldn't interact together, and it kind of brings a new sense of community into Lincoln, so I'm super excited.
The World Cup is a very exciting time here at Lincoln. Stay tuned for the second part of the series as we hear from two more Lincoln students about what the World Cup means to them.
Sebi and Blake on their podcast about sports events at Lincoln.
One of the biggest perks of the new building is the makerspace. Follow along with our reporters Kegan and Ava to learn more about it.
3 students from the computer science class offered to make our broadcast journalism class, Cardinal, some new legs. We wanted to learn more. We found that the students were taking advantage of a new room in Lincoln called the Makerspace. We're enthusiastic to learn more.
How did the Cardinal idea come about?
Well, we were given the problem and we had to come up with prosthetic legs for it.
We were planning on making it magnetic, but we realized with the resources we had, it wouldn't be possible to do it in the time frame, but we decided on making bird's feet out of wire because it would be more, you could bend it into position and it would be quicker.
One of my favorite things about the Makerspace has been just the variety of tools and appliances that we're able to use. Overall, it's a very constructive space.
We talked to the Makerspace tech, Joseph Hewitt, to find out more.
Really interesting. They spent a fair amount of time trying to figure out exactly what they wanted the material for the legs to be out of. So they could be flexible, but not too flexible, so they could stand up. And they've pretty much nailed it now that they've got their materials down. They've added a little bit of another material to help it stick to stuff and not slide around so much.
This is Luke Fedkether, who can be found at work most fourth periods in the makerspace.
Because it's like most cooler than my house, and there's a cool guy there, Mr. Hewitt. You should all meet him, he's really nice. But I get to practice a lot of my skills that are required for when I just like to make stuff. So like I'm getting better at like 3D modeling, using the laser cutter, sanding, chiseling, like working with wood.
The Makerspace is open to all, anytime in school hours. It is a great resource for anyone that wants to create something.
Who doesn't love a good film? Now let's hear from LHS students about their favorite fall films.
Go. My favorite fall film is Paranorman. Hocus Pocus. Nightmare Before Christmas. It's also The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Coraline. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Coraline. Smile. Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
The Harry Potter series.
Nothing gets me in a good fall spirit like a good fall movie. But that got me thinking, what's the best fall movie? We talked to IB film teacher Mr. Suderman to get his opinion on this pressing issue.
Hello, I am Mr. Suderman. I use he, him pronouns. I teach IB film. So in thinking about fall movies, you can think about films that are set in the fall or films that we watch in the fall. So films that are set in the fall, I like to think about Douglas Sirk's All That Heaven Allows and Todd Haynes' kind of remake of that, Far From Heaven. Because even though they're not fully set in the fall, they both offer fantastic visuals of the changing leaves and the vibrant colors that we get out of that, lots of reds and oranges and yellows. In terms of films that are more appropriate because of relating to fall events, October is a great month for watching horror films, of course, though not all of them are set during the fall. The one that comes to mind that would be John Carpenter's Halloween. And then we can think about Thanksgiving films, and my favorite Thanksgiving-themed film, even though it is more of a wintry feel, is Ang Lee's The Ice Storm, which is about a kind of suburban family in Connecticut in the early 70s on Thanksgiving.
Based on the criteria laid out by Mr. Suderman, we conducted research, watching over 40 hours of films to decide what the best fall film is. Ultimately, we concluded that due to its warm color palette, cozy feel, whimsical nature, and message of unity that closely parallels the values of Thanksgiving, the best fall movie is the one, the only, the fantastic Mr. Fox.
Well, there you have it. I'd like to thank all the Lincoln students featured in the video and Mr. Suderman for lending us his expertise. The song used is Gravy by Poddington Bear, and the music is provided by the Free Music Archive. This has been a Cardinal Times media production.
Hey, and Alex, is there a film fall or a fall in the films?
To wrap up part one, let's hear from some students and Miss Eisenberg about the PeaceBuilders portal.
A weird yellow blow-up. What was that all about? Many thought it was a thing that you would find at a kid's indoor gym, but rather it was a service called PeaceBuilders. With the PeaceBuilders portal, students were able to talk to adults all over the world and hear about their experiences. Miss Eisenberg's Ethnic Studies class had the opportunity to go inside the Peace portal, and students had a lot to say about it. With it being here for less than a week and then gone the next week, Ava and I wanted to go explore what the Peace portal was about and when it's returning back.
Technology where you can walk into this little room and you get to have a conversation with people who are life-size, and it's like you're in a room with them. So Shared Studios is a private organization that connects groups of people around the world. So like they've connected refugee camps to culinary cooking classes. Lincoln High School is the second high school, if I'm not mistaken, that has had the opportunity to do Shared Studios and to engage in communication.
Thank you, Ms. Eisenberg, for telling us about Shared Studios. Now let's hear from some students about their experience.
Eisenberg's class, we were able to talk to people from Uganda about how it was living in a refugee camp, and what brought them together was football. And that's kind of what our main goal of talking in the portal.
Okay, so I got to talk to some really awesome men from a country in Africa. And it was really interesting to sort of talk with them about culture that we sort of see traditionally as American, specifically the whole incident with Kanye and the anti-Semitic tweets that he's put out. It was really interesting to talk to people from another country about these events that are happening in the United States and sort of how it affects everyone. And it was interesting to hear the questions that they had for us about like Kanye himself and like the American culture and how it's affected us.
In the Peace Portal, we talked to residents of the Harsham camp in Iraq who had been displaced from their homes due to bombings. We talked about like social media and books and hobbies, just a lot of things. You're really just connecting with people. It wasn't like about Iraq or anything like that. It was more about like getting to know people across the world. It's really cool. I think I learned like how similar people are and really just that everybody's kind of the same and just more how to better connect with people.
This is a Cardinal Times media production created by Francis Ruland and Ava Rusport. We would like to thank Ms. Eisenberg, Ms. Chapman, Luca Groom, JJ Kleinwolf, Ruby Berman, and Mr. Bliss in the production of this video.
Thanks for watching. Now stay tuned for part 2 as we learn about the rest of the videos from issue 3.